So the day ends up with good things and down with the good things for everyone. Let us commence the session. I think the last session, Dinakaran sir have covered you with the WS security, right? That's also one of the quality service parameter. Let us recap that session through a set of MCQs, right? So which of the following is a policy-based XML security service by Cisco, right? So these are all some of the contents has been received from SOA with security services, right? I think these are all available with the Cisco software. Okay. Application oriented networking, there only it could play a vital role on providing these services. These web services are available in the Cisco platform, right? So if they want to access it, they have some uh, that we are going to study, right? Policy that we are going to study. So actually the layer would be like this. Okay. So already we have come across our messaging, then we come across our label messaging, right? So security feature we are learning one by one. So the last session topic WS security is available in the bottom of the stack. Okay, so we have to reach the bottom of the stack by crossing two or three layers. We will be covering those layers slowly, right? So application oriented networking that I could able to do through XML in a very easy fashion. So point out the wrong statement here. Okay, I think this also based upon your security services only. Might be so regarding case studies, it will be tough to answer. I'll tell you. So SOA eliminates the use of application boundaries, traditional methods where securities at application level are not likely to be effective. So that is the idea of the WS security actually, right? So in application layer, if I'm going to design such sort of softwares, right? So that won't be helpful for me. Right? It may be a some sort of uh, an application based software will not protect any uh, system based or application based malfunctioning entries, right? That is their idea. That's what they are conveying. They are not likely to be effective. Atomic service cannot be decomposed into smaller services that provide a useful function, right? See, different types of signatures of viruses and worms are available, right? So in that case, are intruding methods, right? So intrusion detection systems are updating for as per the data quest. In IDS are being updated for every 3 minutes. They are updating, right? IDS because different types of signatures, different types of intruding techniques, they could not be able to take it forward as it is. That's what. So it could not be like a single service that could be able to manage everything. No, it's not possible. So as well as I think this could be the security service that may be found in Citrix. Citrix is the server that you could know about that Citrix server. So Netscaler 9.0, that's also a web service for security, for providing security to your applications. Okay, security for your applications that could be completely framed through XML, right? So that could be the thing. So A, B, C are going to be the facts. So nothing is going to be the wrong statement here. Everything is the conceptually correct. So which of the following is not an OASIS standard for SOA security? So like how we are learning about application layer to our presentation layer. That we have a duo model, right? So being recognized the 7 layer model. So likewise, we are having that standard for my SOA security, right? So that's purely for SOA layers. So they are adapting this OASIS standard. So ultimately, they are using SA, sorry, SMIL, right? Synchronized Multimedia Integration Language, right? So because it is something related with the what do you call web technology based one, it won't be working for your security services, right? Rest of them are related to security services. So here, I think already in the last question itself will convey you. Which of the following provides data authentication and authorization between client and service, right? Client and service. So remember the diagram. Client service provider. In between that, you are having the UDDI. So who will be giving security over on that? So that could be identified using SAML. What is SAML? That the agreement under security assertion markup language, right? What is this assertion? Today we are going to see like policy assertion. That is nothing but so SAML, security assertion markup language. Okay, so that could be the best answer for this. And which one could be the wrong statement here? So this is also related to our OSS only. So OSS have been created especially for security issues related to SOA platforms. And regarding secure conversation is also a feature that attaches the security context token to communication such as SOAP used to transport messages in a SOA enterprise. It's nothing but WS secure field will be added with the SOAP envelope. That's all, right? So if the endpoint which is going to receive that SOAP message, before opening that SOAP message, it has to identify itself with the WS secure conversation. Once if it had exhibited its own identity, then only SOAP message will be delivered towards the endpoint. So that is the content. So WS Trust, so it's an extension of SOA that enforces security by applying tokens such as Kerberos SAML X.509 to messages. This is something wrong because X.509 is nothing but the digital signature being established for the application layer based environment. Okay, so there itself X.509 Kerberos are all similar to that. SAML is nothing nowhere related to these people. Okay, so ultimately statement C is wrong, right? So that's the main recap of WS security, right? Remember this standard, OSS standard. This is a standard, the first standard being designed for our SOA environment. Later, what happened, this standard is being adapted and customized for customized by all the corporates. If you move for Oracle, they have their own OSS uh, formulation. That's what we are going to learn today. Policies. So their policies will be something different. For example, if web service is going to access the client of Microsoft means in that case, so the Microsoft service will have its own identification, right? So when Oracle, when it is going to communicate with a heterogeneous party, a heterogeneous vendor means in that case, the identity of the corresponding destination will be authenticated as well as it has to reveal its own authenticity. So they have their own list of registered people. Those people only could be able to communicate. So they could not be able to go and access the other remote web services as it is. Even you could be able to check with the web service tutorials available in most of the websites. You could be able to see that they will be giving you to test you that corresponding web service only once at free of cost. At free of cost because that is the anonymous FTP that I could be able to access and use that. From the second term onwards, what will happen? You could not be able to use it. You have to sign up and you have to access it. That's what the level one assertion they are introducing into the web service that without credentials they won't allow you to access the service. So that is the case. Suppose if you are misused the service, what will happen? So that could be the major criteria that's going to be level up. See, when you are going to use your services available in AWS, right? So your login credentials will be maintained for next to 5 years, right? So why they have to maintain that much long year of log? Because the the outcome of your usage of the respective service will be tracked till the date. That could be the idea. Suppose using some image browsing services, you did some sort of any terrorist activity in that, who will trace you, right? So that's the reason why it can be identified and move forward with security credentials, right? So security is available in the lower part of the stack. We have to move it gradually. That's the idea that I want to bring it here. So let us start with today's session about WS policy, right? WS policy. So till now the solutions what we have to access service to service communication, service to client communication, client to service communication. So between these three components, none of the previous solutions I have mentioned SUW, right? So SOAP, UDDI, WSDL, right? So they have not talked about their corresponding. They are completely neglected this, right? Non-functional aspects, right? Non-functional requirements in the context of web services. They have not talked about them. So web service can be accessed only if a particular security constraints hold. That's all. It could be the case. So what about this WS policy? So it's a XML based set of specifications to advertise and specific service related non-functional metadata. Understand that WS messaging or WS reliable messaging will help you to access the functional requirements. WS policy will help you to access the non-functional requirements. That is the main difference here. Okay, so please understand that. So ultimately, these people will give you about or talk more about on the overall quality of service parameters. That is the case. So you can design your own policy for your environment. Right? So that is also a case. That's the reason why. For example, here you could be able to take WS policy framework. So the framework you can customize, but the basic standard they will provide. Over the basic standard only, you have to build your own framework if it is necessary for your enterprise. Otherwise, you can adapt the standard WS policy provided with us. So WS standard policy is available. I'll show you. Right. So policy assertions. Okay, policy assertions. So it is like some set of rules, right? So these assertions are nothing but, or it could be like set of operators that I could able to access. Policy attachments. Okay, policy attachments. Policy attachment means a request is going to knock the endpoint means request also must be from the authenticated source. So for every request and response, there could be a attachment. That's what WS policy attachments. So what need to be attached? That could be decided by the framework. Okay. So either it is going to be ID or it is going to be some token, whatever may be. That's also I could able to make it. Whether it is going to be a standard ID or it is going to be a generated token at the time of communication. So likewise, depending upon the environment that I could able to communicate. For example, while I'm going to access my email service, I'm going to use the standard username and password. This is available with me. Right? Yeah, in the same way, if I'm going to access a payment gateway service available in a e-commerce platform, in that case, I'm going to use OTP. That is only for that session only, right? So depending upon that, the policy attachments will be designed. That could be encompassed in your framework. So that could be the uh, major point that you have to think it of, right? So it's going to be like your collection of alternatives, policy alternatives. So either you could able to employ a centralized server to issue tokens like Kerberos. Otherwise, you could able to produce a standard identity like our X.509, a digital signature. Okay. Policy alternatives that's also can be done through set of policy assertions also. Okay. So either you could able to go for secure channel always, that you could able to see. Either you can move for SSL always or TLS always. If any one of those channels are not established means you should not perform any type of communication. Right? It is very easy nowadays to identify. Even your browsers are identifying whether the channel is a TLS, SSL or the channel don't have communication. You could be able to see that in the address bar that if it is a secure channel means the lock will come in green color, that you could be able to identify that you could be able to perform that. The channel if the channel is not secure or it don't have any standard means that it could be able to come with a triangle with the exclamation mark. I could be able to find out that it could not be a standard one, as well as the lock will get to cross. So by that the channel could not be a secured one. So that's also a case. See, even if you are not going to employ tokens, make it to be in the channel of communication whether it is secure or not. If it is not secure, just leave it. Endpoint itself will check, right? Endpoints in source and destination itself will check. If this path is not secure, do not transfer anything. Or if any request is coming via the channel, don't accept it. That's all. That's their main thing. That was given very detailedly in the next section. Policy assertion specified. So what all things will display? That's what SSL or a TLS that you have to decide. Secure circuit layer or transport layer security that you could able to make it and move it forward. So as well as I could able to move for the types of rules can be identified using operators. Exactly one. Any one of the property need to be satisfied. All that I could able to go for all the rules available. It is right like creating some anomaly. Okay, it is like creating some anomaly. So that could be the major section. Okay. So creating that anomaly. Anomalies is are nothing but it could be like set of rules that it could be able to identify or it is like verifying the signature of viruses, right? So I will have list of rules. If any one of the rule is not matching with the available set of rules, make sure that it is an anomaly. So likewise, I could be able to come to a conclusion. So how to fetch these things from the anomaly set? In that case, we could able to use the operators. That's what they have given in very theoretically intersection, right? So the requirements and capabilities are being intersected. So that's the section we need to work with. It's a very sample WS policy. Right? WSP, that is the thing that I need to come with. Right? So SC, nothing but the security exchange. WSSC. Okay, so here you could be able to see that we have the access for Kerberos server, right? Kerberos server, as well as I have an access for digital signature. Both the tokens are being provided here, right? So even this for expand 509 will be used because it has to go on the exhibit its own identity towards Kerberos server. In turn, Kerberos server will issue an ID for the request. Use this to communicate with the endpoint, right? So in that case, that is going to be an asymmetric one because it has to reveal the public identity of its expand 509 as well as the token issued by the Kerberos server. So it is going to give the message digest towards the respective endpoint reference. So that could be digested and being retrieved that okay, it is being certified by the centralized Kerberos server. So okay, we could be able to process the request or we could be able to process the response of the corresponding service happening in the channel. That's the major discussion over here, right? So don't worry about this coding that it will be automatically generated, right? In the framework, what are all the requirements you need? Just you make a tick mark. So how we have seen in reliable messaging, we need a reliable messaging, WSRM support. Just you will put a tick mark in the WSBPL ID, right? So likewise in the same ID itself, just you check that WS policy need to be enabled for your web service communication. So in that case, automatically this WS policy also being generated and this policy will be distributed towards the people. Make sure that if you want to access this service, you have to follow this policy. In the overlay or in the application layer, what we will use means we'll use the term called a protocol. That's what the policy is here. So what could be the protocol that is necessary to access with the corresponding service? What is the way to communicate? That's what the a simple explanation for this policy, right? So it's a recap again for you to because we are going to integrate the policy. What are all the places I could be able to encompass policy, right? You could be able to see the endpoint references are available in the broker UDDI as well as the consumer as well as the provider. So you could not be able to go and access the service directly. You have to talk to the endpoint. In turn, the endpoint will verify your identity. You can verify the endpoint's identity, then you could be able to mutually exchange the data, right? So that could be the case. That is the reason why you are having endpoints are being projected out of the corresponding environment. You could be able to see in the broker, in the consumer, in the provider, a rectangle is being projected with two outlined rectangles, right? So even you could be able to see the complexity of a broker is more. Outer in the outer rectangle, you are having one more circle, right? There could be a two-level security as well as for the provider also. You could be able to see they are having two-level security in one such a case. So you could be able to complex the environment by providing more number of security level. That's the major case, right? So in those cases, what does it mean actually? Dual signatures, right? I think you're learning in your CNS subject, dual signatures. So yeah, a very good asymmetric technique that where I could able to cross verify all the things at a time. Your identity will be verified, your debit card details, right? Again, their exhibit identity will be identified through their corresponding OTP management, right? The second level, third level verification will be cross checked with the OTP with the corresponding vendor, right? So ultimately, bank, merchant, the corresponding provider, both of them will be the three of the entities will be verified parallelly. That is the main advantage of the dual signature. The same thing only had been adopted here. So, right? So these are all the requirements of a policy language, because if I need to create a policy, I need a basic framework, right? That is what this policy language. So it need to talk about the complete expressiveness. What are all the things that can be do, that cannot be do? That's what the main thing. So in communication, what are all the things that we can do, we cannot be able to do? All those things must be listed properly. That's what the complete content that they are talking about, right? So robustness is a major one. Always it need to bridge the gap between constraints and capabilities, right? In that case, robustness is very very important. Composability, right? So composability is nothing but it's a way of accessing in the easier manner, right? I could able to create a policy in a rapidly, right? I should not wait for. That's the reason why, even though we are learning about that, we are not going to create any using by studying any WS policy language. We are not going to create any WS policy or its assertion. The reason to know about web service policy language is how we could able to use operators over other language. That is a major reason that we are learning about this here. Okay, so this could be the policy information model. So how it will be. Already we have seen the code, but anyway, this code will give you a clarity. It could be like a template. Here you could able to see that how many number of policies that you could able to create using the assertion tag, right? So that will convey whether I could able to utilize all these things or anyone. That can be done through my operators, right? So that's what my policy assertion, that domain specific behavior, as well as the alternative collection, whether if it is not going to happen, what will happen. Okay, so exactly what, if we are having a list of things, if it is going to obey any one of the entity, ultimately communication will happen. That's the thing. This is the runtime intersection, nothing but bridging the requirements between, bridging the gap between capability and requirements. That is what has been illustrated through that when it is going to communicate, right? I think due to alignment, the diagram has been shaped. You could able to see here 2P, right? Nothing but the SOAP envelope that is being verified. The intersect operator is verifying both identity. That's what I have given. Its own identity by digital signature, the identity being exhibited and generated through Kerberos server. Both of them are going to be intersected and it is going to be validated. That's what happening here. Okay, so what is policy attachment? What does it have? So that's what the case that we need to learn in detail. What could be the attachment? Attachment could be a URL, right? Or the place where I could able to verify. If you go for in the application layer, what will happen? We will get a 27 letter or character composition of alphanumeric 27 character code will be there. That could be my attachment, right? Nothing but it will be cross verified in my with the X.509 in the general form. That's all, right? So likewise here I could be able to encompass my URI also. So policy attachments, the code will be like this, applies to. So what are all the domains it need to exhibit? What are all the, because internet and intranet. So even if I am going to access my service within the environment also, in that case, no need of working about or worrying about all those things. Okay. So basically, how could I able to design using design these attachments? That can be done through my XML itself. So what does it consist of actually? WSDL and UDDA entities only, right? So that's the major case. So how to attach a policy to WSDL or UDDA? This is what I think you could able to see here. So how to, so because these three people are going to communicate, how to attach WS policy with the consumer, how to attach WS policy with the provider, how to attach WS policy with the broker. That is what we are going to see in the subsequent section. So here how they are attaching. Okay. So for the WSDL, you are having the tag called definitions. Using the tag, it will attach this. Okay. So for UDDA, they will register this as a entry in the UDDA. Okay, so please remember that it will be registered as an entry. Otherwise, it could be like mandatory disclosure. Before we are going to install any software, we will be getting some agreements, right? So once you put the checkbox tick, then only you could able to proceed for the next screen. That means you have accepted everything. So likewise, such as see, if you are going to consume this web service, that if any losses occur in terms of your data, hardware or software, whatever may be, the UDDA is not responsible. So likewise, some sort of precautions are being provided in terms of statement that you will put a check mark and you will access the service. That is what the policy level that they will incorporate in UDDA. Okay. So what are all the types of policy subjects that I could able to identify? So remember these 5 types of policies. It's very important. Okay. In the requester side, it's nothing but that we are going to learn about message policy and the operation policy. So remember this message policy and operation policy that can be being available in the end of requester as well as with respect to provider. So what are all the things are necessary? These 3 policies are necessary: endpoint policy, service policy, and the provider policy. Right. So these 3 things are necessary. The reason we have added one more content here is endpoint policy. This endpoint policy is nothing but it is for validating the corresponding entry. Okay, so that's the major case. Even though we are working with the non-functional requirements, we must know the level of attainment and communication. That is the reason why it's going to happen. And one more thing, message policy and operational policy is enough for me to handle SOAP request and response messages. Okay, to manage with other type of interceptions, these things are necessary for me. Endpoint policy and service policy that I could able to. For example, this I think you could able to see that a very good place is nothing but I think if you come across a Doordarshan Kendra national service that is being accessible, if you go for northeast, right, or if you go for some specific states in northeast, in that case they will mention that this telecast service is available from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So what does it mean? That is the provider policy. Okay, that is the provider policy. That is the service policy that they won't provide service. Apart from that, regular thing. Even though if you have the access, even though if you it was configured for your set-top box, you could not able to access that service because they are not transmitting, right? So that's going to be their provider policy. They are not going to transmit. Service policy. Service will be available from this time to this time. That is the major key that is going to work with. Okay. So policy assertions that I could able to create through strong typed. Remember, these are all the terms related to your XML. Since we are learning with a WS policy language, you must know these things, right? Strongly typed policy assertions are domain specific. That means depending upon the environment, you have to customize the policy assertions. That is what they want to stretch it out here. You have to create a separate namespace for it because it is domain specific. So assertion complexity also being varying. So policy exchange, how they will communicate. That's the major case. Consumer and provider are being identified themselves. It retrieves the policy from the provider via WS Meta Exchange. Please remember that. Okay, via WS Metadata Exchange. So through that they could be able to communicate. Brokered approach means they will talk to the broker. Broker will help them in identifying because UDDA will do that process. Okay, UDDA will do that process. They won't communicate through a peer-to-peer. Okay, so that could be the communication being notified through the customer. Okay, the person who are accessing is a authenticated person. You can communicate. That's what that has been done through my broker. Nothing but my UDDI, right? Policy exchange. And these are all some of the namespaces that we need to remember, right? These are all some of the policy schemas. If you are not going to have your own, if you are not going to have, what do you call it, your own uh, policy framework, you can use these people. That is the idea. These are ready-made available. Okay? These are all available in ready-made. So you could able to access it and you could able to use it as it is. These policies, right? If you go for open source IDEs, these policies will be available. WSP, WS is a web service policy, right? WSSE, that represents secure exchange. Okay, so WSU utility, right? MSP, this is purely from Microsoft policy. Okay, so they have designed their own policy over there in 2003 itself. See, I'll be telling you, even though we are very good and we are promoting open source, the proprietary software from beginning, right? Microsoft has its own composition on the SOA, right? That's its own. But they forget to organize the layers. That means they failed in orchestration and choreography. That is the major reason they have not been into the market for a long time. Now only they are being into the market in the application environment, right? System software they have reached like anything, right? Windows operating system have reached in all the places, but in terms of SOA, still they are struggling to move forward. They have the contents, but they don't have the right people to organize and take it forward. That's the reason why still they are floating in the market. Even I think, have you heard the news that they lose the bid in getting the TikTok? TikTok was completely hired by Oracle now. So usage qualifier, okay, how to use that corresponding assertion that can be done through this usage qualifier. So usage qualifiers you will be able to see in the left side value, right? Required, rejected, optional, observed, and ignored. Okay, so these are all the things that I could able to use it as my usage qualifier, right? So these qualifiers will be triggered in my SOAP envelope. That's all, not more than that. Okay, these qualifiers will be triggered in my SOAP envelope. Once SOAP envelope will carry any one of these value, by that it could be able to take it forward, right? So policy assertions can be visible to the outside world in terms of like this: text encoding, language, spec version, message predicate. These things will convey us actually. Okay, these things will convey us what type things that it is going to show us. Message predicates are being produced through our XPath expressions. Remember our example. Okay. So spec versions are going to be given as a document. That's all, not more than that. So in which language that we are going to communicate. So probably it will run with my the security SAML, right? Security Assistant Markup Language. That's a general language that is being incorporated for that. So text encoding, that's going to use UTF. That's the ultimate text encoding format that we are using for all the cases. Okay. And what about the related assertions? That what we could be able to move forward, right? So these are all necessary when these are all the things which are created especially for. Uh, I think we may fail in application layer, right? But the thing is, these are all necessary for us in that case. Security token, integrity, confidentiality, visibility. These are all some of the parameters, right? So integrity is nothing but that will have your X.509 format. That's all. Confidential is nothing but what type of algorithm that you are going to use for message digest. That's the main thing, right? So visibility means that in what way it will identify its own exhibitancy with the endpoint. That's what visibility is. So security header is it's a prominent role, right? IPv4 or IPv6, whatever maybe that could be used in the network layer, right? When it's going to come for my corresponding application layer, the security header will be identified only through this WSSC only, right? So message age, nothing but the round trip time of the corresponding thing can be identified using this message age. These are all the operators that we could be able to use it on WS policy. All it represents all the elements. Exactly one means specific policy only will be used. One or more means any one of the policy can be used. Policy, simple term policy means it reflects the operation of same all. Okay, so it's ready to refer all the policies being available over there. Okay, so by concluding with that WS policy, so policy specifications have a standard framework first of all, right? So they define a standard framework. So developers they can express their requirements, capabilities, and their preferences in an interoperable way. That is the place that policy is going to do that. That's the main thing. It bridges the gap between capabilities and the requirements. Right? Capabilities and requirements. The feasibility will be analyzed very clearly pertaining to WS policy, because once you create the protocol, you could not be able to change it. Again, you have to release again the subsequent version only, right? So we may very good in managing upgrades of softwares, okay, in applications. We are very good. So now I am accessing IRCTC in some other format. If we go back before 5 years, their entire content has changed, right? So in that case, I am ready to adapt. At the same time, accessing that service is going to vary day by day. Initially, I don't have any image capture or some other capture to access, but now it was being improved. I could not be able to open multiple sessions, right? So these types of protocol variations are people ready to accept. Okay, so that is the major case that I could able to work with. Even we may lose customers, so we should be very careful in designing even in protocols, right? So especially security protocols, consumers must understand that this is the reason why I am introducing the security feature. So without giving, see, you might be ready to protect your service. You are ready to give a very good secure communication for your customer, right? You are ready to satisfy your corporate client. Everything is okay. All these things must be understood by them. Stakeholders must understand that for this purpose only this policy is created, right? Once policy can be demonstrated in a well-versed way, they are ready to adapt that. Without demonstration, if you are going to introduce a policy, it's merely a waste. Okay, so that is the case. Whenever you are going to generate a policy, understand that consumer, provider, and the client, all these people must need to. That means so WSDL, UDDA, all these people must be agreed to carry over on that. That's the major case, right? So support standard assertions. The basic assertions are already shown you, right? Whatever the thing that you are going to create, it need to follow any one of these things. That's all. Using these 4 items, you have to create your framework. So without that, you could not be able to take it forward. It will not be recognized. It's like a de jure, right? De facto, de jure. So de jure will be like this one. You have to follow this standard. Otherwise, your policy will not be accepted and your web service will not be uploaded into the corresponding UDDA. So that's the case. So if you have any clarifications, kindly post it in the chat.